Hello guys, welcome here to another episode of Out of Turn 4. I'm Brian here. Um, Possibly the last time you'll see me in this setup here, so I just want to say thank you all. For those who don't know, I'm moving later this week, so you might see a new layout going forward in terms of my backdrop. That's constantly a mess. So we'll move into a different mess, but coming up on the show, we're going to recap Gateway, Portland, Detroit. That should be fun. We'll talk, Will Power. We'll talk some of the latest NASCAR news as well. And we'll make our picks for the race weekend at Sonoma. But we begin with Gateway. We're going to kind of bounce back and forth. So we start with the Truck Series at Gateway. I don't have much to say about this. Grant Enfinger, he gets his second win of the season. His 9th career win, and of course got to announce that he is having, or him and his wife are expecting another child. So congratulations to them. Big weekend for them, and so excited for their future. Of course, Grant Enfinger, longtime Truck Series driver. That is his 9th career victory. Man, him and that GMS team, they are rolling. So can't wait to see what they do going forward. That just looks fantastic. What they're doing right now, and hopefully Raja gets in on this, because I want to see Raja do well, obviously. So we'll see. Long season still. Going to Portland now. Cole Custer, he gets Ford back in victory lane with a big win at Portland, his first of the season, 11th career NASCAR Xfinity Series win. But the drama was, of course, on the track. Sheldon Creed, John Hunter Nemechek got together a couple times, with Creed ultimately spinning John Hunter in the final turn, much like Nemechek did to Creed earlier in the race. Then you had Sammy Smith and John Hunter upset at each other. Joe Gibbs has got to be loving it right now. He has to be loving every aspect of this weekend. Of course, we'll get back to that in a second. And then, of course, Chandler Smith and Jeb Burton. And I want to start out by talking the Creed and Nemechek thing. It was good to see that they both kind of realized, hey, we're even. I made a mistake. You got me back. We're good to go. Glad to see that these guys ultimately made up, and, I wish we saw the conflict, but, I'm glad to see those guys made up. As far as Chandler Smith, Jeb Burton, Chandler Smith just strikes me as Jeb Burton, based on all the crap he was talking after the race, I'd have to believe he's the kind of guy that has a lift kit on a pickup truck. Okay? I'd have to believe he's that guy with the lift kit on his pickup truck. He's also probably the guy that says, well, I'm not going to go there, but I think, you could put 2 and 2 together with the pickup truck. Even more reason that Jeb Burton's just a clown and a hack. Ultimately, even more reason he's just a clown and a hack. Doesn't win any races other than the ones he kind of backs himself into. Then claims he starts a fight, or claims that he knocks out Chandler Smith when really he's in a chokehold the whole time from one of Chandler Smith's pit crew guys. And my favorite part of this was watching Matt Collig just sit in the background. I thought about starting the show like this and just seeing what everybody thought, but man, Matt Collig became a meme today. Matt Collig became a meme this weekend, and that's exciting. And then, of course, seeing Chris Rice get so animated on the pit lane was even more fun to watch. Now, I understand, though, cutting costs, and I want to switch gears here, speaking of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I get, cutting cost is important. A lot of these teams spend a lot of money, but can we please have competitive pit stops in Xfinity and Truck Series standalone events? This is a joke that we don't have that. That is, you literally, between having stage cautions and having non-competitive pit stops, have essentially taken all the racing away. Okay? We have taken all the racing aspects away. We've taken strategy away because you can't pit unless there's a caution. And I think I heard Adam Alexander say something about if you pit under green, it has to be a 60-second or longer stop, which is so stupid, This is why, these pit crews that come here for these standalone races, they've got to learn and work their way up the ranks anyway. So why not teach them at that level? I'm sorry. Opportunities missed, ultimately. They're going to go to the big leagues eventually. They need to learn. That's my impression of it, and I'm sorry. I think it took away a good chunk of that race. That race could have been really good. And it was a good race, but I feel like it could have been even better if we had that strategy element to it, and hopefully we'll get that back at Sonoma this weekend. Kyle Busch, he gets his third win of the season at Gateway. And that's why I said Joe Gibbs has got to be fuming after this weekend, because Kyle Busch just got his third win of the season. And then, of course, seeing his two drivers duke it out on the track at Portland, you got to imagine there's regrets. Come on. I mean, you can't possibly think he doesn't regret letting go of Kyle Busch to pick up his grandson, who's another hack in and of himself, and a spoiled, arrogant brat. You can't help but think that he thinks that. I mean, if he doesn't, he's blind, plain and simple. The old man needs to get some new glasses or something. Even more reasons. Kyle Busch is on that fuck you tour. Plain and simple. He's on that fuck you tour. He's out to prove him wrong each and every week. He's no longer washed, and I don't like Kyle Busch. I'm sick of seeing him win, and I don't like seeing him do well, but I just like seeing him stick it to Joe Gibbs, because I'm sorry, the way that Joe Gibbs let him go, saying, we don't have sponsors for him, bullshit. You had sponsors, You could have easily found sponsors for a man who's won well over 200 races across all three NASCAR divisions, so give me a break. We got to talk about this, though. Austin Dillon and Austin Cindric tangled in the race, and once again, we had a right rearing incident where it appeared that Austin Cindric slowly kind of creeped his way down the track and right reared Austin Dillon up into Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who was in that outside lane in a 3-wide battle. Man, I'm on the fence with this one because I've watched it at full speed. I didn't really watch the race, but I watched it at full speed, and I watched it in slow motion. This is a tough one, honestly, because it's, I feel like NASCAR has set a precedent. NASCAR set a precedent saying we will let you police yourself, but damn, for fuck's sake, right rearing is not allowed. You do that, you get suspended. I have to say, though, this one's a tough one. I mean, I feel like they got to go back and look at the data. That's 100% what they got to do. They got to really, listen to the radio communications, and I think they got to look back and see if there was anything that led up to this prior to that. That's about the best I can say in this. I mean, I feel like if the data shows that he turned down, you have to suspend him. Okay? If it shows he turned down, you have to. There's no question there. Now, if he, just casually, grazed down there, didn't realize what was going on, I'd have to believe that, from my vantage point, that's what it looked like. NASCAR could see it totally different, then I'd say, definitely a monetary fine. I think, there's going to be revisions to this. 100%. I think, we're going to see some changes going into next season. We're going to see some changes going forward. That'll be in the best interests of the drivers, in the best interest of driver safety as well. And I told you last week, I want to see these drivers that do this go to anger management and have to complete a course. If Kyle Busch has to go to sensitivity training for saying the R word, and Denny Hamlin has to for putting out an Asian meme or an Asian clip of, the good luck everybody else clip from Family Guy, then we should make these drivers have to go to anger management for, right rearing. But we're on to the Detroit race, the one race I did watch this weekend. Alex Palou, he claims the first downtown Detroit street race since 1991, his sixth career win. But the drama on track was between the two McLaren drivers of Alexander Rossi and Felix Rosenqvist. And I got to give it to NBC for just, trying to get them to say, there's tension. I loved it. Their entire post-race interviews with Felix and Alex, they clearly tried to draw some sort of tension out of it. And you can see it. I mean, he made it so obvious. And good hard racing. I have to agree with Felix on it. It was good hard racing. Those two will talk this week if they had any resentments or any hurt feelings over it. But I think it was just good hard racing. Nothing more to say about it. I like seeing that kind of racing. And hey, if that gives NBC a storyline that they can play in between, the dozens of commercials they run for 5 minutes at a time during a race, by all means. So, again, the coverage wasn't that great. Once again, just proving that we need new TV partners for NASCAR and IndyCar. Now, on the NASCAR side, Fox, of course, coming into their final weekend. But they're the lesser of the two evils. Clearly, CBS does not want anything to do with racing. We know there's a streaming platform out there for NASCAR. But I worry about the future of IndyCar with NBC. It's tough to, say it, but man, they don't give a flying fuck about IndyCar. It is legit bill paying for 2 hours with a race in between the commercials. Great booth. I hope if they ever do leave NBC, they keep this booth together on another network. But we'll see. Going on to the news, it was announced today that Andy Lally will run the remaining road course races in the NASCAR Cup Series for Rick Ware Racing. Very good for Andy. Andy Lally is an unbelievable road course racer. I kind of wish they put Joey Hand in the car because Joey Hand really thrived in that car last year. But, hey, sponsorship talks, and good to see Andy Lally get another shot at the NASCAR Cup Series. I don't even know when Andy Lally started last. But I know he's a former Cup Series Rookie of the Year. Of course, the 48-year-old going to run his first race since 2022 at COTA. And who did he run that with? Rick Ware Racing. Oh, no, wait. With Live Fast at COTA. So, yeah, I hope we do see him going forward. I really do. So we'll see. Again, I kind of wish it was Joey Hand, because Joey Hand did a phenomenal job last year with Rick Ware. But, money talks, and Camping World going to back this effort for Rick Ware Racing. So hope they can build on that. I know J.J. Yaley has done incredible for them ever since, really the last 2 races. He's done so well for them. It's clear that I just wish Rick Ware gave JJ a full season. JJ Yaley deserves a full season over a guy like his son. I mean, and then I wish they'd, of course they're going to have Todd Gilliland in the car as well this weekend. I believe Zane Smith is going to be in the 38. So hopefully Andy Lally can teach Todd Gilliland a thing or two about road course racing, and hopefully they have a good run over at Sonoma. Denny Hamlin, he is we could be getting an announcement in the coming days that Denny Hamlin, FedEx and Joe Gibbs Racing could have a 1-year extension worked out for the 2024 season. I think Joe Gibbs at this point needs to do damage control, because he's seeing what Kyle Busch is doing outside of his organization. And Denny will get swept up really quick in free agency if he does not go to his own racing team and drive a third car. So, look, I mean, to me, Hamlin has more leverage than Kyle Busch did. Not to say that Denny Hamlin's a better driver than Kyle Busch. I'm just saying Denny certainly has a little more leverage than Kyle, so you can't really toy with him and say, oh, we can't find sponsors, But good to see. Not a fan of Denny's, obviously. I've made that very clear on this show so many times. But obviously I don't want to see a driver go out because of sponsorship, which in other words is Joe Gibbs talk for, I don't want this guy anymore. So good to see. I do want to talk about this, and I'll try to do it real quick. Will Power made some headlines this weekend at Detroit. He, of course, in the media, they asked him, I believe, a question about F1 and the competition level there or something, and Will Power said, basically, F1 is a joke in terms of competition, and that if everybody in the field had a Red Bull car, there's no way Max would win every race. Now, he did go and say that Max Verstappen would still win the championship, but he said there's no way that he would win every race. And mind you, every race this season in F1, if you want to call it a race, has been won by Red Bull. Mostly Max Verstappen, but of course a race or two has been won by Sergio Perez. Show me the lie. We've been saying this all season. Show me the lies, man. I mean, this just proves yet again that IndyCar is the best form of open wheel racing. And if you don't believe me, you can go back and watch that Detroit GP. That was an incredible race all around. Like, that's real racing. Not this follow Red Bull bullshit that we see every week. In this Red Bull beatdown. There's no racing in F1. Plain and simple. It's just 20 guys driving cars around for an obscene amount of laps with the occasional overtake. It's just not good racing. Racing. It's not racing at all. I can marvel at the mechanics of Formula One, because mechanically they are so fascinating. How hard, how fast they can corner, and just how fast they can get on the straightaways. It's ridiculously fast, and I can admire that. But I would say, if you're going to say it's, and again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but if you're going to say it's the top echelon of motorsports, you're wrong. I'm sorry, it's just not. Now, look at NASCAR, look at IndyCar, and those who say, well, IndyCar, it's not that good, or IndyCar's a spec series, how could it be that good, or, in general, just talk bad about IndyCar. I can tell you I had a discussion with a friend a few weeks ago, and he had said, I'm considering F1, I'm watching F1, looks pretty interesting. He's like, I'm really starting to love watching racing, but he's like, I just can't get into NASCAR, it's too slow. Fair enough, if that's not your speed, 100%. I told him, I'm like, before you go full in on F1, go watch IndyCar. Because trust me, it's better than that Netflix show we see every single week on ESPN and ABC there that they want to keep pushing down our throats. I told him that, and he's like, and the one question, and I believe Connor Daly and Joey Molinaro mentioned it on Speed Street, if you want to go give that a listen so many times, it's, what channel is IndyCar on? Now, I'm going back to talking about the broadcasters. The fact that you can't tell, the fact that it's not known that an IndyCar race is on NBC, main NBC, every weekend, because that's what it's on. The fact that he didn't know this, my friend, the fact that most racing fans don't know this is pathetic. The only time they know it is when IndyCar or when NASCAR is on the USA Network and IndyCar's on NBC, or vice versa. That's the only way they know. Other than that, they don't know that IndyCar is on NBC or USA or whatever, because there's no advertising. I could tune into ESPN right now on my TV. I could put it on my TV right now. And I guarantee you, in the bottom right corner, because, that's where ESPN, ABC, and all that advertise, what's coming up on their networks. I guarantee you, for at least 5 minutes, you'll see on the bottom of that screen, F1 Grand Prix this weekend on ESPN2. You'll see it all week. Now, ESPN's obviously not going to push for... obviously ESPN's not going to push IndyCar because they don't have the rights to it. But NBC, I could tell you, and I watch a lot of NBC. The local stuff on there. Occasionally I'll watch The Tonight Show whenever this Raiders strike ends. But I mean, there's some sports that I also watch on NBC. And not once do I see an ad during anything for IndyCar. Not once. Now, if I watch USA Network, same thing. Nothing for IndyCar. Okay, I'll see ads for NASCAR all the time. I'll see ads for the Preakness, the Kentucky Derby. I'll see ads for anything else. Now, the Indy 500's a different story. And it goes to show you that it's down to the TV provider. Okay? You're spending money on IndyCar. And NBC has done a lot for IndyCar in terms of, stabilizing it, But IndyCar's doing most of the work. I mean, their social media team's doing a great job. But again, not everybody has Twitter or Facebook to be able to say, hey, this race is on. Now, again, you can go and search it on your TV provider. There's always that search button. Just type in IndyCar, and I guarantee it'll pop up. But the network itself, the provider, the exclusive TV deal right there with NBC, they need to do more to push IndyCar. And not just a simple 30-minute plug when they return from commercial for a NASCAR race. They need to do actual advertising and putting out ads saying, hey, Streets of Detroit this weekend at 3 on NBC. Road America in 2 weeks on NBC. You've got to push it more. they're not doing enough to get that outreach like Formula One has on ESPN. If NBC pushed it more, like during the Today Show, during Meet the Press, during whatever is on the weekends on NBC, including the kids shows, mind you, that they run from like 10 to noon or whatever, they need to be pushing this. Okay? This is inexcusable for this, okay? This is inexcusable that the TV provider is not pushing it. Okay? That is the reason why IndyCar in the U.S. isn't well known outside of the Midwest in general. I mean, if you're in the Midwest, you obviously know what IndyCar is, and you obviously watch it. F1, everybody knows what F1 is. And look at how many TV deals they have globally. How many people use that feed from Sky Sports, including ESPN itself. Look at how many TV deals that IndyCar has, and I can probably even look it up. But I guarantee you, they do not have as many TV deals But yeah, let's see. Here's all the so again, I just looked it up. IndyCar has it right on their website. IndyCar Live is big in Europe, and all that. Canal Plus, 4Arena, Sky Sports, Sky in Italy and San Marino, Vatican City, TSN in Canada, Stan Sport in Australia, Sky Sport, a lot of IndyCar Live, Canal Plus, Super Sport. The point is it's available in a lot of countries. Okay? It's available in a lot of countries right now. TSN is a big one. But Movie Star, whatever it is, in Spain. But I guarantee you on those networks as well, it's not pushed as much. Okay? Because, they have Formula One. It's a joke. Now, the IndyCar Live thing, that kind of bugs me. Because that's essentially their app. So they're pushing it on their app. In some of the smaller countries, Romania, Barbuda, Bahamas, all that, come on. The TV providers need to do more to push it out. Okay. I get, you get what you put into it or whatever, but still, come on. What a freaking joke. This is that we can't push this more than we already are. Again, I think if you did, and just finishing up on this because we're getting to the end of our show, if they pushed it more than they currently do, you'd see the ratings go up in IndyCar. I think you'd start seeing people saying, hey, this is good racing, okay? And especially if they watch the 100 Days to Indy, and if that comes back next year, then, you'll get people saying, hey, this racing's pretty damn good. This series is pretty damn good. Actually, it's probably better than F1. And maybe fans will actually start watching, and then you'll start seeing the ratings going up, and you'll see the F1 ratings starting to dip. I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, picks for the weekend: Xfinity at Sonoma, I'm picking AJ Allmendinger. Cup at Sonoma, I'm picking Ross Chastain. I feel like they were pretty strong last year. I feel like he's a little bit stronger than Suarez, so that's why I think that's going to happen this weekend. Real quick, I want to talk about 2025 Indy. I know we're going to go a little over. That's totally fine for this week. So I meant to talk about this last week. We, of course, taped last second. 2025 is my plan to go to the Indy 500. If you didn't see on my Twitter page, Tinkle _ B Hummel. Go look at it. Basically, my goal is to save up for the Indy 500. My plan is to go to that Indy 500 in 2025. So I'm not asking for donations. I'm not asking for anything like that. I would never ask for a single penny from viewers. What I am asking for is, if you can, in the comments section. I'm probably going to put this on Twitter, on Instagram. I'll probably put it on Facebook as well as a separate video. What I want to hear from, and I'm calling out to everybody who's attended an Indy 500 on race weekend. I want to hear from you. I want to hear, first off, what was your experience, even this year? What was your experience? Maybe the best places to sit, maybe the best restaurants to be in. You know, I think those are the big ones right there. And again, just mainly the experience I want to know. Like I said, anything about the atmosphere I need to know going into it, I want to know. And of course, some tips, you know, how much should I save to go to this? Because I'm planning on going for the entire weekend, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, Memorial Day. I'm planning on making that kind of the trip there in 2025. So again, any advice you can give me, I might share it on the air here on our YouTube page and on our Facebook on our Out of Turn 4 episodes. But any advice you guys can give me, I greatly appreciate, and I will definitely write it down, because again, the plan is 2025. I will be going to Indianapolis to go see the Indy 500. It's a bucket list item, and I feel like this is something I get, you know, I could start planning now, but I feel like, you know, this is going to be a 2-year planning process, and I just want to be sure that I have, you know, the resources to be able to do this. So again, any help, any advice is appreciated. Again, not asking for money, I'm asking for advice. That's all I'm asking for from the viewers, from the people who have been to an Indy 500 or two or more. Just let me know what you think, and I can't wait to hear from you all. Thank you all for watching. Tune in to No Final Bell tomorrow. Tune in to Sunday Morning Tinkle on Sunday. We'll be back here on Tuesday with another edition of Out of Turn 4. Until then, goodbye, everyone.